The wind blows, the trees fall, and your lights go out. But should they? 10 Investigates uncovers exclusive information about delays with a program that customers pay for to ease those problems. Investigative reporter Paul Aker is here with more on his continuing investigation. Paul?
That's right, Tracy. A few years ago, AEP got millions of extra dollars from ratepayers to catch up on a tree trimming backlog. AEP says it's doing a great job. But 10 Investigates has learned that last year the company fell short of its own tree trimming goal.
Just as sure as the wind blows, AEP customer Kate Sturgis says
yes, all the time.
The lights go out in our North Columbus neighborhood.
Every time we have a big storm, you know it's going to get out.
Here's the culprit, she says, power lines running through tree limbs. Even though AEP sheared some of the limbs around here recently, this man says the power company failed to adequately trim near Sturgis's backyard.
They're towering right over the distribution lines. You can see these branches extend over the distribution lines.
Rick Reese is an attorney who used to work for the government watchdog agency called the PUCO and another state agency that often sued AEP. Reese says limbs like those that are just feet or even inches from electric lines often snap during storms and knock out the power. It's such a problem you pay AEP to keep trees trimmed in a zone called the right-of-way, which is typically a 10 to 20-foot radius.
Is there any question this is a violation?
No.
AEP promised to get a grip on the problem in 2008. That's when it went to the PUCO to get extra money to trim trees and keep the lights on. AEP got the PUCO to sign off on a plan to stick ratepayers with the bill. Total price you paid nearly $105 million over 3 years. In exchange, AEP was supposed to trim hundreds of thousands of trees.
10 Investigates has learned AEP failed to trim the number of trees that it said it would last year. While the utility more than met its goal for 2010, we uncovered this document that shows AEP did not meet its own goal for 2011.
This AEP report obtained by 10 Investigates tells the story. The report shows a great big letter N, as in no, where the company is asked whether it achieved its tree trimming goal. AEP's goal was to trim 2,700 miles of trees, but it actually trimmed only 2,250 miles, 450 miles short of its own projection. Look at how far that is. It's more miles than a trip from Columbus to Washington, D.C.
AEP got $105 million or more, that's the ballpark, to trim X number of miles of trees per year, period. They have not done that.
So how acceptable is that?
It's not.
So are you guys upholding your end of the bargain?
I think we are. I think we've done an incredible job of clearing the rights of way. And
Tom Kirkpatrick is AEP's vice president in charge.
I have it that you trimmed 2,200 miles. Does that sound familiar?
it could be right.
And the goal was 2,700.
Yes.
Sounds like you missed the mark.
We missed the mark a little bit, yes.
Kirkpatrick says AEP just underestimated the job.
The circuits that we're getting into now are circuits that haven't been trimmed for a long period of time. They're more difficult to trim.
Kirkpatrick says AEP will make up for it in the coming years. But what kind of problem do those dangling branches pose now as the big storms come barreling through? Kirkpatrick says not much.
Surely, if those big trees outside of your lines are going down, the ones that are inside your right-of-way must present some sort of problem.
Well, the big trees that are in our right-of-way, there really aren't a whole lot of big trees in our right-of-way because they would have taken out the line long ago.
He considers them a minor problem.
And there's no question that it contributes to some of the outages, but the vast majority of the outages that occur during an event like this come from trees from outside the right-of-way.
That's a bunch of hooey. He doesn't have any statistics to back that up.
No matter where the limbs come from, the people paying AEP to trim them say something needs to change.
Oh my God. I mean, I think everybody's tired of it.
He says to get the problem totally under control in Sturgis's neighborhood, it would have had to done some extreme trimming. The company says that neighbors are unwilling to put up with the looks of that. AEP also says it's responsible for 31,000 miles of lines, so the trimming it missed is a relatively small amount. For 10 Investigates, I'm Paul Aker.
Thanks, Paul.